Hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to my stream, and another chapter working on this guy right here. I just had some camera problems, so I'm not sure what's going on really, but we will try to get the intro going, and we'll see how it goes from here. Okay guys, well, as you can see, I've got basically the rear end is complete. I've got the wheels glued on. I glued in the exhaust pipes, and our interior is finished and done, just like that. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's done. So now we're going to move forward, and we're going to focus a little bit more on our front end again and get this completed before we start getting into the body, because the body is going to be it's going to be a bit of a process doing the body. I'm really trying to, I'd say, step up my game a little bit when it comes to car bodies. As you guys know, I paint a lot of planes and tanks and stuff like that also, that basically the particular finish on them doesn't matter quite so much, and I paint them with my airbrush. I think I paint a little bit dry, which gives me kind of a flat coat of paint. It's not really glossy. And then of course I always put like a flat clear over top of them, and so it turns out great. But with car bodies, I'm trying to get to that level where it's a nice glass finish, nice highly polished, nice looking paint job, and that has been a challenge for me. Okay, so that's why with this one, this is just another level I want to try and do better on. Okay, so but before we get there, we're gonna focus on getting our engine finished and ready to go. And we got to get our front wheels on too. So let's just get started on that. We'll kind of backtrack a little bit in the instructions, and we'll go get that. I got about 15 minutes or so, and then my chicken's going to be ready. So I'm going to have to run away for a minute when that's ready. Okay, so we go back to our engine. We're getting that all put together. We've already done all this, right? This is already done, and that fun stuff. And then getting it mounted in the car. Suspension's all done, that's all finished. And then we started to the interior. We got the engine in, but we don't have a fan on the front of the engine yet. So we got to do that. So let's find the fan. Where is the fan? It's not on that sprue. Is it on this one? No. There's not a lot of sprues here, but gotta find our fan. There's our fan. There it is. Okay. Here we go. There's our sprue. Let's put this in here. Okay. Let's get our fan off of here. Of course, we've got some spare parts on here, right? Wheel backings and carburetor. Got upper and lower rad hoses, which they're probably not going to line up on this engine, because this engine is, well, custom. But we're going to get our fan off of here. I'll show you what I like to do when those rare moments where I actually have a fan to install. Well, this one's kind of funny, and he's got a big ugly thing coming off of it. So let's get rid of that right off the bat. That don't belong. Okay. Now, the kit fans, made out of plastic, they tend to be fairly thick. I don't know if you can really see it on the camera, but you can kind of see how wide my tweezers are because of the thickness of the plastic, right? That just doesn't look very realistic at all. So what I like to try and do is pick a side, such as, say, this side of the blade, and kind of just shave it down so that it thins out to a point, and even shaving down the edge here. Kind of just go at it, work at it with the knife like this, just to give it that, it helps with the illusion of it being made of metal. To shave it down so that it's thin. You could do it with a file too, that would work also. I know there's guys out there, they sell photo etch fans, fan blades, and of course those are the most realistic because they actually are made of metal. Go figure. But just to thin it out on the edge there a little bit, so it doesn't look like a huge chunk of something, right? Just to help this out in our illusion of realism. As a kid, you know, I never even thought of it. I just throw these in the kits, put them on, install them, and not give it a second thought. But now that I'm older, suddenly I care about this kind of stuff. I don't know why. I just do. Okay, there's 2 done. I'll do this one also. This edge. Just doing the edge to the corners. That's it. Just to give it that, so I'm not looking at a big, you know, so it doesn't look like the fan blade's made out of 2x4s. That's the whole idea. I don't want the blades looking like some 2x4 blocks of wood sitting on the front of the engine. And realistically, I suppose if this were to scale up, yeah, it would be. They'd be thick as 2x4s sitting on the front of the engine and not look very nice at all. Probably be really heavy too. Especially you got a piece of steel that's 2 inches thick and the engine's trying to spin it. There we go. So just a little bit of work, and yeah, now it looks nice and just a little bit thin. And now if I grab that with my tweezers, you can see that I'm trying to, now that really fell deep under my desk. Where's my flashlight / phone?
1 hour later.
Okay, so found my fan. That was unexpected. Anyway, take my word for it, it's much thinner. So I'm going to paint it before I put it on the block. I'm going to use some of Tamiya's LP48. They call this stuff sparkling silver. So what I will do is grab a little alligator clip and see if you'll hold it. Not really. Let's try one of these. How about you? Will you hold on to it? Yeah, I think you'll hold. Okay. Grab a paintbrush. This one works. Nice thing about Tamiya's paints, they don't take long to dry at all. Okay, she's painted. Clean up my brush here. And probably by the time my brush is clean, I'll probably be able to install it. Switch over here. I say probably, but I never know. Actually, we're gonna give that a few minutes to dry as I work on our distributor wires and getting our distributor installed. Okay, we're gonna let our fan dry because we're gonna deal with this little guy here, our distributor. Okay, this needs to be installed, and so he's gonna go right there, just like this. Okay, so because the engine, actually no, because the distributor is actually resin, the engine is made out of styrene just like the rest of the kit, but this is a resin 3D printed distributor. So regular hobby glue doesn't work on resin. So we're gonna have to use CA glue. So it's gonna go right like that. Okay. So we're gonna use some CA glue to get him glued in there. You guys have already seen a few times in this particular series, my CA glue is really thick. So just give me a sec to get the flow drip down to the bottom of our bottle so I can get some out of there. It's really thick now. It almost won't pour anymore. I'm putting off, I'm delaying the trip to the hobby store. This is really what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. And he's going to go in. Just like that. Okay. I do want it kind of straight up and down as best as I can get. Here we go. I'm going to put a little bit of accelerator on there. Even though it's CA glue, and you know, CA glue normally dries super quickly. Because of the fact that this is thickened up so much, it doesn't dry as fast as normal. It still dries just as strong and hard as CA glue does, but it takes a lot longer because it's thickened up like that. So the accelerator really helps. Okay, so we'll just give that a sec. Have a sip of my coffee. Now, firing order 154-26378. That's our firing order on our engine. I've already kind of spread the wires across, kind of like that as we go around the distributor clockwise, 154-26378. Okay. This would be spark plug wire number 1 right here. Okay. Now the first thing we got to do, we don't want to have the wires just kind of drooping down around there, or being just rounded off and doing that. We want to give the illusion of weight. Like these things weigh something. They're not spring-loaded wires. They actually hang, right? And so you got to do that. You have to, for realism, you need to have them droop. Okay. The other thing I wanted to do, I've never done this before, and that's to actually have wire looms. I've got about 1 minute. I got to take off and go get my chicken. Wire looms that I've made out of styrene here to run over my wires. We're going to get to those in a minute, okay? I've just cut some styrene. I took some sheet styrene like this, and I just made like an oval hole through it, and then just trimmed it off, and then painted it, and that's how I came up with these. I've got them like that. Okay. And they're not 4 individual holes, but it's going to be something that I can put all my wires through, and it'll look like a little wire loom that ties them all together. Okay, so we're going to put these wire looms on. Let's grab one here and take my wires. And we discover that my holes are not big enough. Let's try turning this around. There we go, one. I got one wire through, but other ones won't go. Let's see. This is the one I use for my wires. It might be too big though, now that I have these all trimmed out. This should be. Okay, that fits and slides through it. So why don't my wires? My wires should fit through there. With a little bit of pressure, the wires will fit through. There's two going through. Now this guy. Come on. Okay, he replaced one. That's okay though. Just convince him to move over. There we go. There we go. Gotta give some room to your friend. There we go. That's 3. And we just gotta get our last one in there. What are coming out? You guys stay in there. Sorry, I realized my head's on the camera. 4th and final one's gotta go in, guys. Come on. Let your buddy in there. Three of 4 are in there. We just got to get the 4th one in. There we go. That is tight. But I got it. It's tight, but I got it. We have wire loom that broke on me. It just broke open. The one end just broke, and now of course it'll fit everything in there. Okay, let's worry about that later. Since we got it broken, let's just wait. Okay, Spark plug number 1. Spark plug number 1 is this guy here. So he goes in his home right there. Now, like I mentioned before, I drilled this block deep. I drilled it in there, so we've got lots of play. So next, 1 5 1 5. What do we got here? 1 5 4. So next one is 4 right here. This is number 4. Ford engine blocks, I always do, the spark plug order is always 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That's the way Ford engines do it, right? So number 4 goes here. One, 5 4 2. Two, 6 3. Just like that. So that's how they go. Okay, so I think what I can do is I can trim off a little bit of these wires. I'm going to trim them a little bit shorter. So seeing where they go in the block, I'll just kind of grab them like that, so I know I've got that much I can trim. I don't need that much length on them. So by trimming it back a little bit, not only can I make them a little bit tighter in the block, but I'll still have a little bit of play like that. I think our last one is good. Number 1, I've got a lot. I got the most play on number 1. Trim that down. Okay. So, let's go to this side and we'll see how much play we have, or how little. So going around our block again, 1 5. So this is number 5 right here. This guy. Get him under 1 5. He's got lots of play also. We want to kind of go down the front of the block like that. 1 5 1 5 4 1 5 4 2 6. So our next one, let's see again. 1 5 4 2 6. This is number 6 right here. Okay. 6 3 7 and 8. 8's going to be a little tricky because he's got to get in way back here. Okay, so there we go. So now I can see how much I can trim away. I don't want to trim too much, because then I don't really have anything to trim on that. This one came out. This one I could do a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now remember, we want to have these droop. My distributor seems a little bit wonky. So I'm going to put these around the front like this. And do the same with these. Have them droop down like that. Now we're going to get some CA glue ready. And of course, don't forget your coil wire. That's going to go down to the coil. Okay. But we need some CA glue. Which means we're back to this guy. And I'm going to have to use my patented CA glue storage device. This is a nice long process waiting for this to drip out. But it should eventually. There we go. I'm basically running out of this stuff. I really should run to the hobby store today. Okay, so we've got some in there now. And by the looks of it, that might be the last of my CA glue. Okay, so let's get some here on cylinder number 1. And so we get spark plug number 1 here. Pull him out from all of his friends. And shove him in there. There we go. Next. And get number 4. There we go. So we've got our first 4. They're glued in. It's going to take a minute. It's going to take more than a minute probably. Let's do our coil wire. Our coil in this engine sits right on the very front of the motor here. And so we can just put him in his little home here. go. Coil wires in. Now let's work on our other side. Just going to do the next two here. Get in your hole, come on. There. Sometimes wires, you know, you get them in the hole and then they pop right back out on you. And it can be a bit of a pain. The nice thing about these wires though is they do really conform. When you bend them, they kind of stay. They only come back a little tiny bit. For the most part, they stay pretty much where you put them. I mean, yeah, you can see it comes out a little bit on me, but it's not much. There we go. So those are in. So now, once this is cured, like this might still be a little bit loose in there. My number 3 feels like it might be a little loose still, but that's okay. Now we can worry about getting them to look realistic by having them droop on you. Okay? And you can bundle them together a little bit. These guys I want to have come down around, kind of around the front like this. So I can put a nice looking wire loom across here, and then with this side maybe across here, just like this, right about there. But they should, your wires should look like they're a little bit heavy. They shouldn't really be looking like they're floating in the air. Okay? So there we go. There's our spark plug wires. Okay. Just like that. Okay. I'll worry about the looms later. Okay. What did we do earlier? We painted the fan, right? We're going to put the fan on. So if we have our fan. Now one thing I've noticed, there is a little peg for the fan. Obviously on the kit engine there's a hole for it, but on this engine there is no hole. It's just got the bolts for the pulley, and that's it. So I'm going to need to have a hole there for the fan to go into, but I think I want to pin it. I want to put a pin in there, which means I need to have a little hole here to put a pin in. So let's see if I can mark myself a little pilot hole right in the middle of this, right about there. Okay, that should give me something for my thing. I don't know if this is solder or no, that's a nice hard pin. So that's gonna work great. So I need a bit that's about that size. This is a little bit big. Let's take a look at my bits again. How's this size? That looks pretty close. So I'll put this bit in. That one's way too big. Way too big, way too big. This one looks like maybe it might be a little too small. Yeah, that one's too small. Okay. So let me grab my Tamiya pin vise. This guy here. This guy closes up nice and tight so I can get these small bits in it. There we go. Let's get a hole drilled in here. I want to go fairly deep, but I don't want to go all the way through. I want to go deep because I want it to be nice and solid in there. And you can determine how deep you are by put your fingernail on the ends and then pull that out. And now I know I'm that deep in there. Let's see if she fits. This is actually a piece of paper clip that I left over and just left on my desk. Paper clip from when I was doing the rear suspension. Yeah, it's just a little bit too small. So, because I don't have drill bits in my pin vise that'll work, I'm going to have to resort to my little hand drills. You might be wondering what those are. Those are my the little set I bought on Amazon of multi-sized pin vices. These guys here. Get a whole bunch of different sizes. They're all very, very small, but it's a lot easier to match up the sizes. I think the orange one is our match. Let's see. I think with a little bit of CA glue, we've got a good contact surface there. Let me grab my other tweezers. These ones grab a little more sturdy. Just dip that in there. Okay, we have a pin in it, just like that. Okay, now we gotta have a hole in the front of our pulley here. And we know center is because there happens to be like a bolt right there. I'm gonna shave that off a little bit so I can do my pilot hole right there in the center. Sorry if I'm not doing this on camera for you guys. I need to get right in the middle here. And And this is tough. My drill bit wants to, they call it walking. As soon as I start to turn it, it starts to kind of wander away from the center. So I'll just do my little pilot hole a little bit deeper. There we go. There we go. Now we got a good hole going. I'm going to change hands here. Okay, let's check our depth. Just put my fingernail up there and then pull it back. We're about that deep. I'd say 1.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters. Let's grab this guy. Might not be deep enough. No, we're not deep enough. We're gonna drill deeper, guys. So how I'm going to drill deeper, I'm going to use my Tamiya pin vise again. I'll show you something cool with the Tamiya pin vise. Pull that out. The Tamiya pin vise, your chuck is like this, right? But you pull this out, you can turn it around and you've got a much bigger chuck to fit bigger things. So I can just shove that in there like this. And then you can't do this, right, because of that, but with a little bit of creativity you can do that, and you can put that in there, and now you can use this. And we can drill deeper. It's not a perfect solution, but it helps. And now I can drill right into the water pump. I could just keep drilling right into the block if I wanted, but I don't need to go that deep. Oh, I may have come through. Yeah, so I'm pretty deep in there now. So now this should go all the way. Yeah, just like that. And we've got our fan on there. Now what I should do is do a test fit. Where does a fan sit compared to where our radiator is going to go in right across here, right? Right across here. So I'm going to do a little test. Let's see. Let's look at our instructions. I only got a few minutes left here. Instructions show a radiator going up into the body, so let's do that. That's number 49. Let's find that. I think this is it here. 49, this is our radiator. It's a little bit disappointing that the radiator is separate from the radiator support. So here's our rad, and it's separate from the support. It's going to go in, looks like, maybe drop in from the top. It's a little bit, it just sits on the edge like this, like that. Let's give it a little quick glue, just so I don't have to hold it. So that was the Tamiya Extra Thin Quick Set. So it'll hold it for me like that. So I can kind of get an idea if I'm going to have room. I think my fan is sitting too far forward like that. It looks like my fan's too far forward. If I turn the car around so you can see it better. If I line up my firewall like this here with where it's going in here, my fan is too far forward, I think. So I just kind of slide the body down a little bit onto that. I think my fan's going to be hitting the radiator. I definitely won't be able to put the fan in after, especially with the pin in it. So that little lip that's on there, I think I'm going to have to get rid of that and get this to sit flush. That means the pin's going to come out. Trim this off like that. Which means the pin is now going to be sitting in this. So it sits in there now, and that should go flush up against there. That took about 1 millimeter away, so I think now we're going to be okay. It's still going to be tight, I think. I think the fan is actually going to be touching the radiator. But at the same time, I think it's going to work. We will see. We will see. We'll find out. I want to let the glue cure. And I'm pretty much out of time here. I have to get going. Okay. So, this, I think, guys, is where I'm going to leave it for today. Yeah. I didn't get quite as much done today as I thought I'd be able to do. Just a couple of things took a little bit longer. But, you know, that's kind of my thing with this kit, is I'm wanting to take a little bit more time on it and not rush things too much. So the fact I didn't get all that much done today, that's okay. That's okay. I still want to try and get my wire looms on there to try and get those matched up and get them on there and get my wires tidied up. But yeah, I'm not in a panic. It doesn't matter to me if I got the looms on there or not, because well, wire looms are wire looms. It's not that big of a deal to me. Yeah, I think it's pretty close to putting the body on, which means aside from the wire looms, I think we're just about ready to start working on the body prep to get it prepped for paint, which of course is going to be another big session, and take a lot of time to do the body. Now the molding on the body is pretty good. There was a little bit of parting seams at the back there. I kind of shaved them down a little bit so it's not such a harsh edge. They did a pretty good job right behind their little thing there. You can hear when I run my fingernail over it. There's a little bit of a line there that I need to sand down a little bit. It's a little bit of work. I'm actually impressed that there's no weird molding lines in this. Usually you get some kind of a weird pattern of a molding line in our big places like on the roofs, but there isn't any on this kit, and that's really nice. It's not bad at all. They did a good job on this one. Yeah, but other than those couple little things in the back here, we got to fix those, sand that down smooth there, and of course add our little bits on the sides. Sand the body down, prime it, sand it again a little bit, paint it, sand, paint, that kind of thing. Yeah, but that'll be for another episode, another chapter. Okay, guys? So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for all the new subscribers and the comments. And yeah, we're going to leave it like this for today, and we'll see you all in the next one. Phew.